and gentlemen, welcome back to your GEST November edition. This is the GEST IDC. This is Dota 1. None of that Dota 2 nonsense. This is good old-fashioned Mineski. And Mineski, by the way, if you haven't been watching the previous few matches, well, first of all, go watch them because they were very impressive. Woots, for me, has been the MVP so far on Mineski's run, but the whole team has all been pulling their own weight. Even the standard Y has been pretty impressive. Of course, we expect a lot from Bimbo, from RR, and, well, they've been delivering. RR as well has been playing in the past, I think, for MSI Evo GT, but it looks like he's back on Mineski. Someone said it was an imposter. I don't think that's the case, guys, but either way, it does... This is going to be interesting. His Shadow Demon play was very impressive. But before we really dive into this draft, you can see the bands starting to come out now. Just real quickly, let's look at the brackets. I know a lot of people are probably wondering, where are we in the tournament, LD? What match is this? Well, this is Mineski versus First Esports, and obviously Mineski has been impressive. They've had a hard road to get here. They took down iZone convincingly, then they crushed their way through MSI Evo GT. That was our first and second rounds, and now we find ourselves at the semifinals. Mineski one win away from those grand finals. Same too as First Esports. This is, well, frankly, it's a bit of an unknown team. They come from Thailand. They only have 8 matches logged in Gosu Gamers. In the group stages, they lost to iZone. They lost to Emax. But then in the playoffs, they defeated Dreams. They defeated Encyclopedia. Is it Encyclopedia? ENCY, whatever it stands for. I think it's Encyclopedia. I could be wrong about that. Yeah, it is. Okay, so they're from Indonesia, but they defeated Dreams to get here, so they have beaten some pretty strong teams along the way. With all that being said, we'll hop back inside the game. We'll see how the draft is progressing. One here who's getting banned, and the second phase that slips through this time is the Drow Ranger. Skywrath gets banned. Skywrath Mage was picked by Mineski last game. It was run as their solo mid. They get the Woots Earthshaker. They get the RR Shadow Demon. They pick up those really strong supports to start this one off. So First Esports making quite a run here in their first GEST. According to my good friend Ren from Pacific Esports in the chat, he's saying that they entered it via the qualifiers. So they had to work a bit harder than a lot of these other teams, even to make it to the event. Obviously, Mineski's going to have the bigger fan base in the crowd, but for those of you who are pulling for First Esports, they have shown some good play. I think I cast them yesterday in the group stages. They were playing against a very odd lineup from Deparuka. It was a Slark, Shadow Fiend, Drow Ranger lineup, and it was punished. It was absolutely punished. I think that was First Esports anyway. But they played smart. They played stable. They are not a crazy aggressive team. They'll go for more of your typical kind of expected strategies. They'll play safe. They like to get their items up. They're not as aggressive as some of the other teams in this tournament, but that is generally what you want against the Pinoy teams. You don't want to get into a game of aggression, of trading kills, because that's really what they're used to, and that's what they're comfortable with. Much better to sit back, play defensively, get your strong farmers, get heroes like Puck, who can't easily be killed, get the strong supports like Jakiro, who can end the aggression. Mineski go back for the Oa Dragon Knight, so this should be a pretty interesting pick. Last time we saw him, he went for that build that we see so often. The early Midas gets you level 16 faster, gets you that Frost Dragon form a bit quicker. Then he gets the Lothar's Edge so he can initiate, so he can be a better chaser in team fights. And someone reminded me about the color of the minimap. Thank you, sir, in the chat. Someday I'll remember it. You know, there's all these little things you got to remember differently between Dota 1 and Dota 2. I've gotten the hang of the Dota 2 stuff. I used to be good at the Dota 1 stuff, but you know, it's like riding a bike. It takes a little while to get comfortable doing it, even if you never truly forget. But yep, we have the map sorted out. So thank you very much to you, sir, for sorting that out. And well, what are we seeing as far as bans go? The second stage of bans. A lot of very strong lane controllers. Interesting to see the Silencer ban from Mineski. They already have a couple casters. It is a very annoying hero to play against as an Earthshaker, but this to me suggests they may have a bit more team fight up their sleeves. They want heroes. They want to pick something that relies on getting off a big stun, a big silence, something powerful that's an active ability. So they get rid of the Silencer. He's a pretty annoying hero to lane against. The new Silencer does a lot of harassment damage and just generally can be a nuisance when you're a hero. Like a DK, even Bottle Crowing, you can't spam Breathe Fire every single time that he uses that nuke against you. I think it's Curse of the Silent, or is it... I think it might be the new Last Word, actually, which is the... That's the active one that does, like, up to 300 damage, and if you don't cast an ability, It disarms you when it wears off. If you do, it disarms you immediately, I believe, or silences you immediately. I can never remember. It's a weird ability. Anyway, he's banned. Who cares about that? I'll get my mechanics for silencer right when people start picking it more often. Oh boy, what can I say? So many changes in the last couple of patches. That's what I can say. On the other side, we're seeing a lot of the strong farmers getting banned out. The Queen of Pain ban, very smart. The silencer can be extremely annoying against him. Obviously, it's a solo that Mineski have a lot of experience running. You could play it as your off lane. We've seen that before. They go for the Omni Knight. This is... Maybe they've been watching some evil geniuses in Dota 2. This is not a hero that Filipino teams pick. Is it going to be an off-lane Omni Knight? Is that what we're looking at for Mineski? This is very interesting and very unexpected. I don't think... the chat had their predictions. You know, they throw the hero names out here and there. Omni Knight was not on that list. That was not on anybody's prediction. But they do have the Dragon Knight Omni Knight combo. They have the Knight strategy starting to form their own unique version of it. But you throw Repel on Dragon Knight. Now he doesn't have to go BKB. He can just go for his Midas, Lothar's Edge, and then straight into some big damage items. Straight into an Armlet, straight into that Crystallis, working towards the Bariza. Whoa, boy. Okay, Mineski get their hands on Magnus. I was wondering how long it was going to take these Filipino teams to start picking the hero. Oh, he has been so broken in Dota 2. I think Magnus won 90% of his games at DreamHack LAN Finals. Something like that. At DreamHack Winter 2012, he won... He was 10-1 when, and I didn't watch the Grand Finals for the last 2 days, but he was 10-1, something along those lines going into the Grand Finals. And I feel with this Magnus pick and the Omni Knight as well, it's going to be real tough to deal with. Sure, you've got a Drow Ranger. That doesn't matter. They have endless chain stun, and they have a crucial demonic purge and a reverse polarity, both of which do go through the BKB, even if Drow Ranger goes for one. Even the supports on the side of First Esports do not scale well into the late game. So the key for them is going to be get the early blink on Puck, get your Drow Ranger off to a powerful start, try and really limit the levels of the Magnus. If you can shut him down early, they might be in slightly better shape. He could be the off lane. We could see a solo mid Magnus. I'm not sure how the Pinoys are going to want to run him. I'm not sure what Bimbo has up his sleeve. But I love to see them paying attention, really, to some developments in other scenes. Because I don't think this hero has been picked much at all in Pinoy Dota. As soon as I say that, I'm probably wrong. But over on the side, we have the challengers. We've got the upstarts. This is the Thai team, First Esports. They qualified for this, coming through the GEST IDC qualifiers. They had to work a lot harder to get here than a team like Mineski, who's always invited to participate. New. Going to be playing the Drow Ranger. It is a 5-ranged hero team, so that new True Shot R is really going to make these heroes hurt. Even the supports are going to be hitting pretty hard. Speaking of supports, it's SKZ on the Jakiro. He's got Observer Wards picked up. We have JS on the Keeper of the Light. A WT playing the Windrunner. It looks to be... It might be a solo mid Windrunner, so doesn't look like the offlane. We'll probably see JJJ, who is their last player, playing the Puck. He'll probably go to the offlane. We may see him just sort of sit here, farm the Ancients. Obviously, you can go up here. All the sort of cheeky jungling spots that are available. We'll see how they choose to play it, but it is an option for them. Over on the side of Mineski, though, we have a Woots Earthshaker. We have a team that's really struggled. Let's be honest about it. They have not looked good in Dota 1, certainly compared to what they've shown us in the past. We all expect a lot from Mineski in Dota 1 and the Filipino Dota, but they have delivered in spades today. Mineski is back, baby, and it all starts for me with this man, with Woots on the Earthshaker. His signature AoE initiators. Sure, we've seen him on his Chen, we've seen him on his junglers. He can be quite good on those, but really, Woots, his bread and butter is this Earthshaker. And to a slightly lesser extent, the Sandkill we saw earlier today. Mineski, to get here, they had to take down some very strong teams. First, it was iZone. Then it was MSI Evo GT. Over on the side of First Esports, they did take down Dreams, who I know a lot of people... You always see the Jules comments in chat. Well, that is Jules' actual team. Jake going to be the offlane Magnus. Bimbo, as he's also known. We have Y as the stand-in. He's playing the solo mid Dragon Knight. Doesn't finally Quelling Blade. That's going to delay the bottle, but will help him last hit a bit better in lane. Owa going to be getting the safe lane farm as Omni Knight, it appears, and the Shadow Demon being handled by RR, who has also been, for me, him and Woots have been the two most impressive players on Mineski in this tournament. Sure, they don't have the flashy plays that you might see from the carries from you know, the bigger farming heroes, but they have just really impressed with their positioning, their decision making. This is going to be a hard lane for Magnetar, and I like the fact we see the Drow Ranger getting a point in those Frost Arrows early. Generally, and sort of the standard way to build Drow Ranger is... The Chinese even sort of pioneered this build where you just don't get any points in Frost Arrows, and a lot of teams have... Well, frankly, a lot of teams follow that example, and she does get tons of damage. But getting 1 point early is going to make it a lot harder for Jay to get experience safely. It is an offensive tri-lane for First Esports, a very potent one at that. They needed to win these lanes early. In comes the Illuminate, will snipe the creep, so what a nice play by him. Now... Oh, this could be bad. Disruption was already used. Jakiro will be forced to tango out of here. Has 2 left. Omni Knight now charging in Oa. Gotta be careful. He wants the heal bomb. He will find it now. Looking for the auto attacks. Still chasing. They've got creep support. Backing them up. Dual breath on a few. Or actually, no. Oh, only on 2. Not on all 3. Windrunner is going to hoof it out of here. Level 1 on Woots. Level 1 on RR. But crucially, it is already level 2 on the Omni Knight. As far as our mid matchup, Dragon Knight versus Puck. The new Puck has a bit more base damage. You can see 51 to 62. Feels a lot more respectable. Also, the other benefit of having this Drow Ranger is you're giving extra damage to your other solos. So it makes it a lot easier for these ranged heroes in the tri-lane to actually have a big contribution. That's something huge that, you know, I've mentioned briefly in the mid-game how other carries get big, but this is an early laning advantage that the Drow Ranger gives you. Look at the auto attack. She's seeing a little bit extra. +6 on the Windrunner. We see a bigger advantage on the Puck, who went for a lot more stats. He's up to +10. And this gets huge once Drow Ranger gets 6. That's why they're running Drow as a solo. This is actually a very creative way to play the Drow Ranger. Instead of running it in a tri-lane, instead of supporting it, they knew the Magnetar would, or the Omni would be solo top. So they say, okay, fine. You want to pick these heroes that are a death ball in the mid-game? You can do that. But we're going to dominate our lanes. We're going to get a really quick... Well, almost a dead Omni there as well. We're going to get a really quick level 6 on our Drow Ranger, and then she's going to be destroying everyone in lane. Jay is actually going to pull Drow back into the creep wave. I don't know if he wants her here. Maybe he does. This is Bimbo Dota. This is our first blood claimed by Jay with the Haystern. A drive-by. Bimbo impresses and delivers again. That is a lane that should go the way of Drow Ranger, but with the Haystern and with an amazing skewer into a creep wave and a nice body block, everything there with perfect play, basically. It was just enough. This is annoying for Mineski, though. They want to pull. The Keeper of the Light is the best hero to just make you very sad at your pull. Still, all is not lost for these guys. I think you can afford to give away 1 kill to Bimbo, even though it's a first blood. They can recover from this, but they gotta stem the bleeding. The Fissure is here. Disruption to follow, and the Soul Catcher. Can they get off the heal bomb? Oa doesn't think he's in range, and they get the kill anyway. He heals the illusion. Oh, what a play from Oa. Such smart decision-making, not healing his own hero. Really nice individual plays. And this tri-lane getting very difficult. Keeper of the Light manning up once the Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon will die. The big problem, because he got this first blood, now he's got boots and he's got bottle. More importantly, he's got level 6. Not yet, but very soon. So once he has level 6, if he comes bottom and hits a reverse polarity, the tri-lane is over. Drow Ranger, sure, she gives you the damage in lane. Sure, on paper, if you play perfectly and don't make mistakes, it will give your team a huge laning advantage because they do have 5 heroes. Everyone gets tons of damage. You're going to hit harder and trade better in just back and forth auto attack engagements. But reverse polarity means you're not auto attacking, you're dying. So that's pretty much the trump card that Mineski can look to play here. Meanwhile, on the middle lane, oh, it's Woots roaming around again, setting up kills for his team. Woots, you are just such a wily cat. Unfortunately, this tri-lane, as strong as it is in lane for First Esports, they don't have a hero like Earthshaker who can easily roam around the map, set up kills. They have Keeper of the Light and Jakiro. Jakiro's an okay ganker, but mostly he's just a very strong defensive hero. He's a good hero in large clashes, and in fact, it's not just Earthshaker's roaming, it's the Shadow Demon. This is why Mineski loves supports like Earthshaker and Shadow Demon, because they can roam and set up kills, and that's what Mineski is all about. Getting aggressive early, finding the kills there, and then in the mid-game, getting Oa farmed, getting Bimbo his core items up so he can continue to push and be aggressive. But it's all about the supports that can actually have an impact early on. The good news for First Esports, if the enemy team abandons the tri-lane, they can push it. They can easily kill the creep waves with Illuminate. They have the Ring of Basilius, and they've got the True Shot R. Plus 25 on Windrunner, plus 8 on the Twin-Headed Dragon, but it is going to stack up once that Drow hits level 6, which he's about to. Speaking of the Drow,
Player's forces are under attack.
Bit of a raiding party waiting for her there. Jay has his own flanker. Now he can really start to battle Crow. And he can push this lane. Even up against the True Shot aura, having just that AoE spam is going to let you control the lane, push it into the tower, and that's going to allow the supports to come around for the backstab. Creeps can gank the tower, you go find the Drow Ranger. Speaking of that Drow Ranger, she's not getting levels. She needs level 6. I almost want to say it's worth sending someone to help her there, because once she gets level 6, the game gets a lot easier for the team. Drow is a timing-based hero. You want to get level 6 as quickly as possible, then you want to get level 16 as quickly as possible, and, well, you want to get RR. Really? That should have been a kill. JJ, perhaps not sure where the other supports are. A little hesitant to go in, but an easy kill, an opportunity missed there for First Esports. But without the vision, just didn't feel confident. The counter push is coming out from the Omni Knight heal bombs. Still the tower being sieged. They're going to bring this down soon. In comes Woods looking for an amazing fissure block. Unfortunately, though, the tower can't be denied because a nice shackle prevents it. Great play by him. Level 7 now on the Magnus. This could be bad if there's a disruption. Oh, don't overextend. No, don't do it. No, don't do it. It's a trap. It's a trap. Here comes the skewer. Here comes the reverse polarity. No, just the shockwave. Oh, boy. Well, once you play against Mineski a few times, you will soon learn that they never actually leave the lane. They're always waiting there, and as soon as you get aggressive, these roaming supports, RR and Woots, are going to be looking to show up and make you pay. First Esports, well, they're not out of this one yet. They still have that mid-game timing, but once the game gets a bit later, once we see Omni Knight, say, hit level 10, 11, once we have our Dragon Knight with his first couple of items up, speaking of which, what does he have right now? Oh, he's getting close to that Hand of Midas. The bottle. Does he have a bottle? He should. Oh, sharing it with Earthshaker. Now the bottle's being crowed. Yeah, they're about to get that. Meanwhile, the top lane, though, it is another dive. Jay just strikes again. Arcane Boots picked up for him. So damn aggressive, but really making it work. Even Drow Ranger being put in a bit of a bad situation here. She hits hard, but she's very squishy, and it seems like this pick just doesn't work against Mineski. It works well against, in some situations. I still maintain it's one of the best, if not a broken carry hero, but it is very squishy. And unfortunately, Mineski are just so good at punishing those squishy supports. It's not looking good for First Esports. It is, however, looking pretty good for Mineski right now. I think the Blink Dagger's coming soon on the Magnetar. Oh, maybe not. No, went back for the Magic Wand. Obviously, the Arcane Boots. Now a TP coming out. But now he can just farm his Blink Dagger. He's already level 8. He's going to have his Empower soon. Even just 1 point will help. And then that's where the Dragon Knight can start to get pretty scary. That Dragon Knight should have his Hand of Midas coming momentarily. 2150 gold on him. Assuming he goes for it, which I assume he will. Since, well, let's be honest. This is Oa. He loves his Hand of Midas. So for anyone just tuning in, this is your semifinals. This is a single elimination tournament. This is your GEST IDC November edition, and it's Mineski making their case that they are the old school champs, and now they're ready to reclaim the throne, the title, as the kings of Pinoy Dota. Can they do it? Well, we'll see. But so far, so good in this game. They are leading by a little bit. Everybody's getting farm, everybody's getting some levels, and they have a team that really benefits from it. Where's that skewer? Drives him back into the middle of the team. Now the fissure to follow. And with the nukes, it is too much. It's really easy for Jay to find these pickoffs. Twin-headed dragon, not that mobile. Keeper of the light, not that mobile. Mobility is the best way to dodge away from skewers. RR might pay, though. In comes the blast from the Keeper of the Light and the orb. This could be a good fight, but remember, I think there is a reverse polarity dream coil on everyone. And everyone dropping low. In comes Drow Ranger. This is what they want. They got to kite him down. Beautiful play. First Esports showing off the power of their mass ranged hero lineup. Just want to auto attack this. One more auto attack. There you go. Claimed by WT. There's your double kill. And all hope is not lost for First Esports. This is Mineski's weakness. As good as they are at being aggressive, they also overextend at times. They get punished, and First Esports were prepared for that sort of aggression. They turn the fight around. Now they look to push, and with 5 ranged heroes, as well as True Shot Aura, should be maxed pretty soon. It is really going to hurt. Drow Ranger already hitting for plus 74. In comes the Magnetar, but once again, the silences. He may have to go for a BKB this game before he can reliably initiate. Either that or just blink and dodge away from the silences. What is Dragon Knight going for? Still hasn't spent his gold. It's got to be... Oh, boy. All right, well, this is trouble. I did not realize he was that far. 60 CS. He's not going for the Hanamitis this game. Y has rushed the Shadow Blade. This is how you kind of... You bypass the silences. You just jump their team immediately. Now maybe you don't need your Blink Dagger on the Magnus. If you get it, it's great. It's obviously going to help. But you don't need it anymore. You've got your big, tanky frontline initiator, and because they have Repel, he can just charge in. He doesn't have to worry about getting locked down. He doesn't have to worry about getting silenced or getting focused. That Omni pick just works so beautifully. This should be the start of a kill. They do have the chain stun. They have the damage. In fact, all it takes is a soul catcher and a single nuke, and down she goes. Now they skewer forward. Jay knows that there's someone lurking here. Reverse polarity just for JS. That is some serious hate on an old man, an old beaten down horseman. They do get the kill though. Now they push the tower. Mineski, the death ball begins to grow. They need some core items. They're not there yet. They need probably a mechanism on the Omni Knight. Certainly the Blink Dagger and some levels on the Earthshaker. Obviously, the Blink Dagger on the Magnus would help. You want your treads on your Omni, on your DK. A few more damage items. They don't have the death ball yet. But what they have is good ganky potential. And there's a Sentry Ward here. First Esports are prepared for this. The silence to initiate. I'm not sure. Oh, with the Ice Path, this is a good Sentry Ward. What a play by these supports. In comes the Illuminate. It'll disintegrate him. Jay skewers in and doesn't find the opening. And if he doesn't, with the Frost Arrows being here, are these maxed? It looks like those might be max Frost Arrows. He was really slow. Mineski, they need those blinks. Skewer just not as reliable for setting up reverse polarity. And if they don't find it, if they miss, then you see what happens. You get kited, you get focused down. Mineski overextend. First Esports, signs of life for them. These guys have a pulse, and, well, now they're going to look to try and kill off Omni Knight. The fissure is there. Oh, just run away, Oa. Oa, no. Oa, no. He really getting greedy. And actually, I kept on talking about Oa being the Dragon Knight, but this game, it was Oa in that safe lane playing the Omni. It's Y on the Dragon Knight. So hopefully I haven't been misspeaking, but I feel like I was. We'll see anyway. If you want to push, you need a Sentry Ward. That's what we see. Even though JS is doing a nice job of keeping the Sentry Wards up pretty much everywhere, it's still an investment for them. It's still gold they're not spending on other items. The Shadow Blade or the Lothar's Edge, in a sense, it pays for itself as a result. Because the enemy has to spend gold on those items, they're not able to buy other things. So just inherently, it is kind of an economic win for you. Obviously, if you die 5-6 times in a row, you're not farming, then it becomes a bit of a problem. But aside from that... Well, guys, the score is now 9-8. The creep scores looking pretty good on the side of Mineski. 68 CS on that Dragon Knight. He's our lead farmer of the game. No, we'll have to talk about it later because in comes the big action mid. There's the Illuminate. The big action, by which I mean no action because... Oh, Dream Coil on 2. Of course, with the Repel, you can just walk out of that, no problem. Now they might look to go on the puck. He's not caught in the best position. Will he actually port to his orb? He won't. He tries to walk out, taking so much tower damage. Will it be enough? It's not in the end. Oh, it is! The Fissure snipes him. Oh, no. God, that Soul Catcher, a bit too strong. They don't have the mech. They don't have the heals or the repel. And now the tier 1 falls bottom. This is... The one thing Mineski do have going for them, although they don't have the items to be aggressive, they have a great defensive lineup with Soul Catcher, with all the burst damage, and with Fissure. You know, all these defensive abilities, all these abilities that kill creep waves, that discourage getting out of position. That allows Dragon Knight to do what he's doing right now. He can split push, he can get some farm up, apply pressure elsewhere on the map. And that means the first Esports, they can't fight now, which is what they want to do. They want to fight before... Oh, they don't want this. Skewering from Bimbo. Again, he finds the Windrunner, and again, she falls. First it was the Drow Ranger, now it was the Windrunner. Bimbo not a big fan of the cute girls, at least not this game.
Players' forces are under attack.
Smoke up. Of course, the Blink Dagger is up now on Jay, and he is using it to its full potential. They still want that blink on Earthshaker. Speaking of which, they almost have it. Woods is just rushing it. No arcane boots for him. He's going straight for the blink. They do have a sentry mid, but I don't think they were actually watching that ground spot, as they've not pinged it yet. They don't seem to be aware. They will smoke walk up the river. Or maybe they do, because they're now smoked up. But will they walk up this cliff? This could be real bad. Nope. Mineski go the other way. They'll be okay for the moment. They will charge towards mid. RR may pay, but a 5-man smoke gank just for a Shadow Demon, even if they get it, I don't feel it's worth it. And there's a good chance they won't. Still no blink on the puck. Where is the big items coming out on this team? Does anybody have one? 4 staff soon for the Windrunner. Aside from that, that's pretty much it. They will catch out RR. RR should fall very easily here. But again, Shadow Demon's not the shutdown. He could die at the beginning of every fight. And if this game goes to the 30-40 minute mark, they are still going to lose. Assuming that Mineski initiate properly. In comes the Dragon Knight. He's repelled. He doesn't care if they see him. He wants some kills. Look at the damage from that Shadow Blade. And look at how they can't really do anything. Can't touch this. Although it's not, it doesn't appear to be enough. Now the repel wears off. The silence wasn't there. No, it looks like still alive. He is still surviving his Y. There is no blink. Oh, there is a blink dagger, but it got canceled. Woots wanted to go in and deliver the big punishment. Not able to do so. That was with Mineski not really having the best initiation. That was with it kind of failing. They still just have these get out of jail free cards that First Esports don't have. First Esports can't make mistakes like that, because if they do, they die. And so because they can't make those mistakes, we see them having to play a bit more passively.
Players' forces are under attack.
So Mineski, a few hiccups in this game. It is a bit of a different lineup and style than from what they've been playing against. Obviously, they're very used to playing against iZone, MSI, OGT. This is kind of an unknown team and a different style from First Esports. But I still think they're in a decent position here. They're getting the core items up. They are out-farming their opponents by and large. They have the better team composition late game. Obviously, you've got Empower for your hard carry. You've got a Dragon Knight who can skip a BKB because there's a repel. Nobody's a natural Diffusal Blade carrier. I suppose the Drow Ranger could build one, but she's already got an orb effect with those frost arrows. And what you really want is lifesteal. What you really also need is levels, and she doesn't have levels either. She's only level 9. Magnetar's level 11 by comparison, and looking at a blink skewer back in to his team. Really looking at it. He'll blink away.
A player's forces are under attack.
This is not a replay. This is real life. This is Mineski in the semifinals of your GEST IDC November, looking... I still think in pretty good position this game. I feel First Esports giving up all those towers early. That wasn't the game plan. They couldn't afford to trade towers like that. If they come back into this game, it just makes it a lot harder to do it. And also getting the points of frost arrows early, great for the lane. But now you don't want those. Now at this point in the game, you just want damage.
A player's forces are under attack.
You want extra stats, extra points in silence. The silence is also crucial. If Drow Ranger hits a really big silence and Puck follows up, they could maybe take a fight. Oh, Repel is on Magnetar. He doesn't care. Jay in the front lines. What level is that Repel? It's level 4. It's max. It's a max Repel. And that means he just lives forever. Although he's taking a lot of physical damage, he's got to be careful. There's the Frost Arrows. The silence comes through. Now the power shot's still being slowed down. A fresh Repel is applied. Walks straight out of the Dream Coil without any trouble. In fact, the Omni ult was even used. Will Omni die while his ult still lives? Does not block nuke damage, of course. Does make him resistant to that Drow Ranger's auto attacks, but it wears off. Dragon Knight is pushing top lane through it all, not actually engaging. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, they shackle up Woots. They want to bring him down. Woots is dropping low. They got to kill Woots off. They can't let him counter-initiate. He's managing to juke. He gets off the fissure, and I think that was the echo as well, but will it be enough? Ice Path on 2. What an Ice Path. First Esports. Oh, yeah, they're overwhelming. Mineski, they need their Dragon Knight here. Why isn't he TPing? Does he not have one? He does. A little surprising not to see him come. I feel that is a big mistake. I feel with the Dragon Knight, they can fight. He can be the frontline tank. But hey, he does get a tier 2. He is pushing towards the base. And despite 4 heroes dying, they're only giving up a tier 1. They're getting the tower advantage. They are, however, giving up tons of experience, tons of kills. I would say not worth it, but it could be less worth it is kind of the way to look at it. Or less not worth it. That's what I mean.
The player's forces are under attack.
What does our Drow Ranger go for? What do you go for in this game? Lifesteal is normally the choice. I think you got to go for raw damage though. In this game, if you go for lifesteal, you're not going to outlast a team that has an Omni Knight, all this chain stun. I mean, obviously you need a BKB at some point, but aside from the BKB, it's just got to be damage. I don't think the lifesteal helps you. Maybe ultra late game, maybe if you win a couple more fights and suddenly you're 2-3 items ahead of them, but in an equal game or a game where you're behind, you're just not tanky enough to trade blows. You got to be able to just dish out burst damage, quickly bring down a hero during one of those initial silences, like the Omni Knight, like the Earthshaker. If you don't, you lose the fight. There's no two ways about it. The Skywrath game is over, my friend, but if you want to check that one out, the VOD will be up at youtube.com/LDDota. While we have a moment here, I will say, I saw some people asking, who the hell is this guy? Who's this guy talking about my beloved Pinoy Dota? I'm LD. I'm a commentator for Beyond the Summit. I have cast with gods quite a few times before. You may have heard of me. GGNet gods, for those of you who call them that. I'm also a caster for DotaCommentaries.com. If you enjoy my casting, like my Facebook page, facebook.com/LDDota. I have made a pledge that if I ever get more Facebook followers than gods, I will do the Gangnam Style dance on camera. Now, I need a lot of Facebook followers. It's not going to happen overnight, but every like helps, guys. Every like helps. So we will have a pause. We will have a moment to look at the stats while this game is paused. Typical Pinoy Dota. Just not that many creep kills. Aside from Y, who has done a pretty nice job. 6 hits per minute, but everybody else is way behind. Looks like we are ready to resume here. Get back underway into this game. As far as levels go, Drow Ranger desperately needs level 11. More importantly, needs level 16, at which point her ultimate gives her 60 agility instead of 30 at level 11, instead of 15 at level 1. It is such a big boost. It makes securing that level 16 oh so important. And unfortunately, she's not getting there quickly. All the deaths, all the time spent running around with the team, they're really slowing her down. You compare that to the Dragon Knight, he's already level 13. And he's another hero who desperately needs level 16. He needs to be a Frost Dragon. He needs the slow, he needs the massive AoE, the 100% splash. So crucial. It becomes a different hero. Frost is greater than fire, at least in Dota. More pings coming out from our friends at Play Cyber Games. Big shout out to them for, well, providing the client where all these teams play, and it has some bugs, it has some moments, but for the most part, pretty stable, pretty reliable. Dragon Knight is going to be going for an Assault Cuirass. Look how fast he's melting that tower. Very wisely, still has that level 1 ultimate form, does do the extra poison breath, and because they have the Omni Knight, they can just siege these towers, throw Empower on him. Although actually I think Repel removes Empower, at least in Dota 1. Actually, I didn't think about that, but that may be a bit of a concern for their lineup. I don't think those two interact well in Dota 1. It's a small issue, though. Oh, well, not small, but it's not the most significant issue. They do have level 2 marksmanship. In comes Jay. He skewers 1, but did he want to do that? Fissure on a few. Woots is always there when they need it, and they're all dropping low. In comes the Dragon Knight. He's repelled. He's trying to find some kills. He's doing a lot of damage to each hero, but can he actually bring any one hero down? Gets a second, a fresh repel. Now the Windrunner 4 steps away. A big Illuminate being channeled. Hits nothing. Now they're on the chase. They have the scent. They want this twin-headed dragon. There can only be one dragon in this game. The second time we've seen the Dragon Knight just dominated. Oh, Woods with a huge initiation on 3. That's your Echo Slam. There's your wave to clean up the big damage dealers. Wow, Woods with a celebratory skewer. They get 3. And when this squad is getting towers, whoa, well, that's a nice kill. Bimbo will fall. But once again, it's Woots that is winning these fights for his team. Just huge initiations on 2, 3 heroes with the Echo, with the Enchant Totem, with that Fissure to follow it all up. It's just absolutely breaking the fights open for his team. I think Woots must have had his Wheaties today. At least in the United States, that's what we say when someone is playing. Really, even above what you've ever seen from them is they must have had their Wheaties. It's a special breakfast cereal. Breakfast of champions. He hit something. I don't know if it's something in the water, if it's something he ate, but there's something going on with this Woots guy. Because even compared to, obviously, we all know Earthshaker, Sand King, these initiators are Woots' signature, his bread and butter. But even compared to how he's done in the past, I think this may be the most consistently awesome I've ever seen him play. It's impressive stuff from Woots. Maybe Ice Frog should rename Earthshaker. Oh, speaking of which, Blinken, Echo on 2. Oh my god! Oh, man. Oh, wow. That one, that's gonna hurt.
Forces are under attack.
That's gonna hurt. Oh. Oh, man. That was decisive as well from Woots. That was really impressive. Now I'm convinced there's definitely something in the water. That was a boom shakalaka. He slam dunked that. Of course, the Omni Knight heal. That was the finishing touch. He needed that extra hero, but smart of him to wait and make sure he had the Omni Knight there. Then he goes in. Then he finds the big initiation. And now they will get the tier 2 bottom. I don't think they can defend this on the side of First Esports. You just got to give this up. On the top lane, JJJ has picked up a gem, has his Blink Dagger. But like we talked about, you know, as I was discussing in the analysis at the beginning of the picks, they had to get that Blink early. Getting it at this point doesn't really do that much for you because now, most likely, Omni's going to be just sitting really far back. Sure, you could silence the Dragon Knight, even the Magnus perhaps. They're just going to be repelled, whichever one they decide is more important. So as long as Oa has good positioning, there's just nothing they can do to bring down the Dragon Knight. And because they can't bring down the Dragon Knight, they're screwed. If you can't bring down the Dragon Knight, he's killing your Rex, he's killing your heroes. He does a ton of damage at this point. Has some lifesteal, has some minus armor, has tons of extra bonus armor. Aggressive positioning for Boots, but remember, this is because they have multiple layers of initiation. They've got the Earthshaker. They've got, oh, this is not what you want. The two initiators get shackled together. But again, they still don't feel safe to jump in because there's Repel on the Dragon Knight. This is the extra initiator. They don't rely on him. He's just a failsafe. And he comes. He wants that Shadow Blade stun. He's thinking about diving this. I don't know if he should dive this far. He's getting out of range of the counter initiates. Earthshaker's forced to sit back. This may have been a slight overextension, but in comes the Guardian Angel. There's your reverse polarity. There's your burst damage. Dream Coil on 2. But again, what does this Dream Coil really accomplish? Nothing. They're too tanky. They have the repel up on the Dragon Knight. They may defend Rex for the moment. Oh, Drow Ranger has a Shadow Blade looking for the Earthshaker backstep with the one more auto attack will secure that kill. Nice snipe by Nu in the back lines, but you can kill the back lines. They still have creeps to the base. You're about to lose Rax. And there's nothing they can really do to stop this Drow Ranger. She is too big. Or not, there's nothing she can do to stop Mineski, I mean to say. Oh man, you know I'm tired when I say something that silly. Great game so far though, and she comes silence on a few. Dragon Knight doesn't care because he's repelled. And if you can't kill Dragon Knight, how do you win this fight? I don't know, but they're going to try. They Shadow Blade him. He does get repelled. They do find the kill. The damage is already done, though. Now the TP out from Oa. They get a couple. They need a team wipe here. They really need a team wipe. Shadow Demon will just be able to TP away. So 2 escape in the end. Sure, they got a couple kills, but what can they convert those into? I don't see a thing. They can't. They push reasonably quickly. You do have the Drow Ranger, who once she turns her aura on, can push out those side lanes. Should just leave it on permanently now. This will help you deal with the fact that you just lost Rex bottom lane. Because that aura gives all your range creeps bonus damage, even though they have a Rex advantage, you will still be able to push out that lane. Or at least help it from pushing in, I think is the better way to put it. They are going to go for Roche now. This could be a bit of an opening for First Esports. I would still say they're quite far behind even with this Roche, but it helps. And now, oh, is that a refresher? That's a refresher. That's a refresher, Magnus. Now, Woots does need full mana to get the combo off, and he's got it. Roche is dropping low. He's looking to come in. No, they're going to give up the Roche. A smart choice. I don't think it was worth defending that. Oh, there's a gem on RR. They might be able to pick him off. This would be a nice little pick. That's a 1,400 gold swing, although they don't really need an extra gem, so really it's just a 700 gold loss. Gem is on the floor. Will they kill it as they back away? No, they're not able to do so. Woods has stolen it. Now he skewers onto the low ground. He catches one. One down for the Sentinel so far. That's it. Now Monolith, Jay. I keep on saying Woods. Damn it, it's Jay. Jay jumps in. Now Woods getting caught. That's your Woods. Woods will fall. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a long day. But now, on to that Keeper Light who's trying to run away. He's tried his best to survive. The refresher has not been used yet. One last shockwave from Bimbo, from Jay. He snipes that kill. Drow Ranger lives on an absolute sliver of HP. What the hell happened to her? Well, she does live. That's the important thing, though. Looks like they did have detection. Dragon Knight hits 16. This is a crucial level. He's not going to have that Frost Dragon for a little while because he just used his ult, and if you level up the skill after you activate the ultimate, you won't actually get Frost Dragon until the next time you use it. So I think they have a minute and a half or so, but realistically, what are they going to accomplish during that time? Not a whole lot. Towers dropping low mid lane. DK chopping away at that. Y looking to push this lane in. This Rax will fall quickly. And look at the positioning. Just the Omni sitting back. The Magnus even farther back. He's got the double reverse polarity available. Initiating upon this becomes very, very difficult. They will go for the silence. In comes the Drow Ranger. Reverse polarity on everyone. Rearm. Let it load again. He gets the double reverse polarity. It's going to be a team wipe or at least 3 heroes dead. A wipe of every hero who was near that fight. Disaster. And this is why Magnus is just a permanent... Oh, and the E just died. It'll be 4. So Drow Ranger comes back to life. Dies again for a trouble. We'll call that 5 kills as a result. And that is going to be the end of this game. Mineski... Too much team fight, too much death ball. First Esports tap out. And Mineski, the run continues. Mineski are going to make it into the grand finals. They are going to be back there GST November. I think this is something a lot of people have been hoping to see for a while, is Mineski playing up to their potential, of their name, of their star players. And they're delivering so far. Everybody's been a contributor, from the stand-in and Y to Bimbo, who's been playing a couple of different heroes. I mean, he's played all over the map, different roles in all these games, and he's had a great impact nonetheless. So first Esports, it's their first GST. They still did a great job here. And they're playing against a very tough opponent in Mineski, a very experienced opponent. They still are going to be competing for that 3rd, 4th place. They will be playing the bronze match after this. So everybody, definitely big round of applause and sort of respect to First Esports, who have done a great job in their first GST, and hopefully we'll see them in months to come. They went for something a bit different this game. It is, of course, best out of 1 single elimination. Maybe in a best out of 3, they would have had something else prepared. Obviously, the next game you could look to ban out the Mag. Maybe you ban out the Earthshaker in the 2nd round. Or you do something to kind of punish these picks, but unfortunately, Mineski sprung the trap on them. They sprung the Dota 2 beast that is Mag into the Dota 1 world. They unleashed him, and there just was no answer for it.
The town is under siege.
Really exciting day of games. I think this has been the most fun I've had in a GST IDC. Just so many action-packed games, and all different kinds of styles. We've seen Mineski win in just a ganking style game in game number 2. That was against MSI Evo GT. They won with the Skywrath Mage, the Bounty Hunter, the Shadow Demon, Earthshaker. Just the crazy burst damage, team fight, insta-nuke you down, kind of insta-gib kind of lineup. In their first game of this series, of this tournament, it was aggressive, but it was sort of along the lines of this one, where it was a bit of a timing push. They had a little more gank, a little less team fight, but they've shown quite a few picks. They went for the Gyrocopter in that game, and that was played by Jay, by Bimbo. A bit of roaming around the map from him, but overall, Mineski have showcased a few different styles. And this is something for them where their picks got a bit predictable back in GST, August, September, the more recent ones, besides the All-Stars in October, which we won't count. But they're showing a lot more diversity of picks. They seem to be adapting well to the new version, so I am very impressed by Mineski. Of course, First Esports, they won't be moving on to the Grand Finals, but they will have a shot at 3rd place. They will be dropping down to that bronze match. Before we wrap things up, I will quickly show you guys the brackets, let you know what's in store for you. Next up, we do have the bronze match that is scheduled to kick off pretty much right now after the 3rd, 4th place match. Well, once Pacific Emax versus whoever won the other series kicks off. It looks like it was SVRS SVRES, who defeated G7. So SVRES versus Pacific Emacs. That match is going on now, probably on one of the other streams. And then whoever loses that match will play against First Esports for 3rd, 4th place. After that, we have our grand finals. We have our best out of 3 between whoever wins Pacific Emacs versus SVRES and Mineski. So Mineski move on to the grand finals. Big congratulations to them. For now, that's going to wrap it up for this particular cast. But guys, don't go anywhere. Don't you dare leave those seats, because there is more GEST IDC November coming your way in a few moments' time.